Hello, my name is Alexis Godet, and today I will be presenting on CO3O4 SiO2 eggshell catalyst and its role in Fischer-Tropsch synthesis. So this is just some information about me. I'm a sophomore and I volunteer in Dr. Joseph's lab, which focuses on heterogeneous catalysts and materials chemistry. This is the table of contents. Section 1, an introduction to Fischer-Tropsch synthesis. Fischer-Tropsch synthesis, or FTS, is a process by which hydrocarbons are produced from the chemical reaction between hydrogen and carbon monoxide present in syngas. So syngas is like burning of fuels, they produce gas, burning of waste that produces gas, and in that gas there's present carbon monoxide, and that can be used to make hydrocarbons, and the process by which that is done is called Fischer-Tropsch synthesis. The products of FTS directly depend on the type of catalyst used. The products of FTS are used in plastics, rubber, detergents, transportation, fuels, and lubricant oil. And so metals typically used for FTS catalysts include nickel, cobalt, iron, and ruthenium. And the type of metal used, as I just said, dictates the products formed. This is the FTS reaction. On the top, we have the desired reaction, or the main reaction. And on the bottom, we have the side reaction, or the undesired reaction. And this side reaction is also known as WGS, or water-gas shift. So this is a graphic showing FTS, and you can see the green balls, that's the catalyst, that's the active sites on the catalyst, and the gray and white balls forming on the side that are forming the chains, that's the carbon and hydrogen forming the hydrocarbon chains. And the catalyst, depending on the type of metal that's used to make it, can dictate the length of these chains and thus the weight of the hydrocarbons. And this resource was provided by Institute for Complex Molecular Systems. All right, so now section 2, how the eggshell catalyst aids FTS. So the eggshell catalyst aids FTS in many different ways. It provides a location for the reaction to take place, as FTS is a surface catalyzed polymerization reaction, which means the reaction happens on the surface of the catalyst and does not happen inside. The catalyst does not break apart and reform by the end of the reaction, none of that. It just happens on the surface. And here I'm just going into how the different metals affect the product. So we see nickel tends to promote methane formation. Iron has higher water-gas shift activity, which is more suitable for lower hydrogen-carbon monoxide ratio syngas. Cobalt is more active and generally preferred. And in comparison to iron, cobalt has much less WGS activity and is more expensive. Section 3, eggshell catalyst structure. So this here is the 3D model of the CO3O4 SiO2 catalyst. I have a pellet, which is the one on the top, and the cross section, which is the one on the bottom. And on the bottom, you can see the SiO2 support on the inside, that's the blue part, and the CO3O4 shell surrounding it, which is where the reaction occurs. So on the camera here, you can see the eggshell catalyst, the SiO2 support, and the CO3O4 shell surrounding it, and this is where the reaction takes place on this outer part here. So on the microscope it looks pretty big, but in real life it's really tiny. That's it right there. So yeah. And so now an explanation of the catalyst structure. So the CO3O4 shell, that's the active side, as I've said before. The thickness of the shell plays a part in the heaviness of the hydrocarbons produced. And a study done at USF in 2011 researched this, and they came to the conclusion that the interplay of dispersion and thickness has been shown to control the catalyst performance, activity, and selectivity. And as I said earlier, the CO304 shell also has low water gas shift activity, which is really good because we do not want that side reaction happening. And the SiO2 support, that's the inner part of the catalyst, it's covered in cynenol groups, has low metal affinity, and high surface area. And this here is a simplified diagram of the catalyst. I used Microsoft Word to make this, and you can see the CO304 and the SiO2 support, and also the hydroxide groups attached onto it. So this is some information about the CO304 structure. This data here was taken from a sample of the eggshell catalyst analyzed using X-ray diffraction. So this is just more from that analysis earlier. So we see the crystal system is cubic. The space group is F-43M. The space group number is 216. The degrees, the alpha, beta, and gamma, they're all equal because this is a cubic crystal structure, so they're all 90 degrees. The calculated density is 6.1 grams per centimeter cube. And here we see the volume of the cell, 524.58, 10 to the 6 pm cube. Now the conclusion. FTS is a useful reaction for creating hydrocarbons from syngas. CO304 SiO2 catalyst is used. The catalyst structure aids in the FTS reaction, and we also know that the metal used for this catalyst dictates what type of products are formed. And lastly, section 5, references. These are my references. Thank you so much for your attention.